Hello and welcome from Rhinebeck, New York. Now, I wish I could say that I was coming to you during Sheep and Wool Festival. That would be amazing. But this is June and it is not Sheep and Wool Festival, so we're just going to have to pretend. The amazing thing is, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm in Rhinebeck. Maybe I can buy some awesome yarn, even though it's not Sheep and Wool Festival. Let me tell you, there are no yarn stores in Rhinebeck, and the closest is a decent little bit of a hike away, other than, the Joann's and the Michaels and the Hobby Lobbies, which are in Poughkeepsie. But I wanted like a real local owned kind of yarn store, and I'm not going to get that, but we're going to be okay with that. Rhinebeck has so full of history. If you do ever get here for an opportunity to go to Sheep and Wool or any other reason, there's some amazing history here. And in Hyde Park, Hyde Park is the location of FDR's summer home, and so we also have one of the Vanderbilts, many homes, and so many amazing properties here along the Hudson Valley area. It's really, truly an amazing place to be. But today I'm actually I've been working on this tulip tank top pattern. Ooh, got an ant. Ooh. I've been working on this tulip tank top pattern, and I have all of the squares and everything made. So this is kind of what they look like. And now I'm going to lay them down. Now the yarn that I'm using, the sheep cheese yarn for this, has some variation in it. So part of laying this out, we are going to work on seeing what looks good together. So you can kind of see those are essentially the three color patterns that we're working with. Now I don't know if you can see it real well, but this is the pattern because it's actually on my phone. So I had to kind of sketch it out a little bit, and drawing is not my craft. So I'm going to work on doing this pattern layout. We're going to see. So we have 4 triangles. And if we say that this is the top, because this is how I'm looking at it, this is going to be the bottom, this will be the back, and this will be the front. So we want 4 along the top. So we're just going to play with this and see how it works out, and you get to come along for the ride. So if I do it like that, but then if I join, those two might be matching. So we don't necessarily want that. So let's swap those two. I hope. And then, okay, that one would be okay there. So then we want 4 on the next round. I'm pretty sure because of the way these are that there's gonna have to be some next to each other that are just gonna be the same, and we'll have to be okay with that. But we're gonna do our best to kind of try and make it a little bit different. And actually, I think if we're gonna have some next to each other, it would be better to have them join at the seams next to each other than it would be to be obviously next to each other. And I'm assuming that these are joining at the seams. Wow, this looks like it's going to be really small. I'm wondering if I shouldn't just block all of these first. But if I do, I will let you know. Right now, I just want to kind of lay out a nice little pattern here. So if we do that one, that goes there. If you've ever laid out a granny square, anything, this is kind of like what that process would be like. So you're just picking everything and seeing how it all lays out together. I did mention I did not block any of these first. And I was thinking it would probably be okay without blocking them first. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll put you there. I did leave all these little ends on. We'll see how that works out. Might have to just trim them off. Okay, so if we do it like that, I kind of like the fact that it's not, there's no specific rhyme and reason. Now these are, I have, I only have 3 of these. I thought I was supposed to have 4. I am supposed to have 4. So I need to do 1 more of these. That's part of what blocking is all about, or laying it out. You figure out, oh wait, I'm missing one. So these are going to be like these bottom pieces that just kind of finish off the pattern. So I will need 1 more for right here. That is basically how it lays out. Then the next step is to connect them all together, either with a slip stitch or doing the tapestry. I tend to like the mattress stitch a little bit more, although honestly I'm kind of new at this, so I haven't tried a lot, but I just find that the mattress stitch works really well for me. And maybe what I'll do is I'll go ahead and pin these together, because I have all my pins and I have you guys with me. So we'll pin these together so that I know how I want it to lay out. And then, because I didn't bring the yarn right to this particular location, I was looking for a location to film. I've been trying to film this video now for several days, and between the weather and you know, we are currently RVing with my sister and brother-in-law, and so you know, we're doing activities with them, and you know, you don't want to be like, hey, I can't do that right now, I'm on vacation, but I need to go record a video. Not that they would mind. So you know, I just haven't gotten a chance yet, and so I started to record it today. And as I was doing so, they decided, not they as in my in-laws, brother and sister-in-law, but them as in the campground, decided it was the day that they were going to work on the grass around my rig. So I know you can't hear it on the video, but I can still hear in the background the, they're not even using a lawnmower, they're just using one of those weed whackers. That's what they're called. Look, I'm having souvenirs, and so that was too loud. But if I waited until this afternoon, which also would have been okay as far as scheduling goes, the weather says that it's supposed to come in and rain, which is kind of surprising right now because it looks absolutely gorgeous right here, and the temperature at the moment is a beautiful 76 degrees, no humidity. Heck, I could live with this, and yet it is supposed to rain this afternoon, so I didn't want to wait for that either. So I decided I'm gonna have to go hunt down a location and go with it. So here we are. This is actually in somebody else's campsite, but there's nobody in this campsite right now. So I figured it was fine. We're good, no problem. Yeah. So how is your day? How are things in your world going? I want to hear from you guys. I love hearing from you guys. And tell me, what are you working on right now? What is your favorite project? And what do you love most about crochet? You know, one of the interesting things as I'm traveling all over, and I love history, so we are going to a lot of historical mansions and places like that. And I love, love, love seeing all of the crochet and even a lot of knit too. Eleanor Roosevelt apparently was quite fond of knit and crochet, so she did a lot of that. And I love seeing not just the finished products in the homes, I also love to see, like, we visited Eleanor Roosevelt's Val Kill, which sounds like an awful name, but apparently kill just is a Dutch word for body of water. And so she created Val Kill as a cottage industry education, kind of like a trade school almost for farmers during the Great Depression, to help them learn a skill when farm season was not active. And later, once Valkill was shut down as a trade school kind of concept, and I use the term trade school, they did not. But once it was shut down as that, she actually moved into it as her primary residence once FDR passed away. So we visited that location yesterday, and sitting right on the table in the living area was a cute little bag with the yarn and the crochet needle sticking out. Um, and you just know, I mean, you can picture this amazing woman who inspired so many people in such a significantly powerful way. You can just picture all of the times that she would sit there and work on her craft and make projects with, you know, a good something or other on the radio, so that she was listening to the radio because that was something that she loved to do. um, I mean, it just really, to me, it brings the craft full circle. And while I do have to say, once upon a time, I was very much opposed to the idea of any sort of knit or crochet hobbies, because I just had that cringy, I don't, I funny enough, not a big fan of granny squares, but I have to say it's granny squares in the traditional sense, you know, where you have the I don't know, the classic 70s, 60s, 70s granny squares. I just have horrible kind of flashbacks of those for whatever reason. And so for the longest time, I was very resistant to the idea of doing any sort of crafting that was knit or crochet. I never learned how to sew. I was the youngest, so it was never really kind of impressed upon me the importance of that as an activity. And although my mother did pretty much all of it because she was actually the oldest, I did not do any of it. I don't. I even I started to take a home ec class in high school and said, nope, I'm going to be the uber successful woman that doesn't need to do any of these sort of craft things. Don't need to cook. I'm going to hire a housekeeper. Uh, so why do I need to take this home ec class? And I actually dropped out of the home ec class. So here we come, kind of full circle. I humble myself to the craft and realize that it's not about whether or not I am a successful person. It is about something that I love to do. It feels so good when I can pick up a hook and create something that is absolutely stunning, uh, and just have such a wonderful way of creating something that's beautiful. And I know I've shared it in one of my little short videos, but you know, this is not perfect. If we look at this, there is nothing that is perfect about that. And I'm learning, and I want to share with everybody else, that perfect doesn't mean, to me, I'm redefining the word perfect. It doesn't mean everything is exact like a machine would make it. To me, it is the authenticity that it was made by me. Because if I look around at nature, I'm surrounded here by trees, And there is not a single tree that is identical to another tree. Nothing about them are the same. So if perfect means absolutely identical, I don't want perfect. I want beautiful. So to me, perfect is beautiful in whatever form or fashion we're going to make it. Now, see, that will flip over. And so that will connect to there. Look at that. We're getting somewhere. Okay, so that is going to be the basic. Now, I have to say, this really looks like it is going to be kind of small. As I lay it over, and let me flip to see what side this looks like. Yeah. But, and that's where I need to make one more right there. I did that intentionally because I have found that every single time I make a pattern to size me, that fits me based on the measurements, the yarn stretches after one or two wears. And then I feel like the garment is too big for me. So I have chosen, this is completely an experiment, so I'm not an expert. I've only been doing this for a little over a year. I've only been making garments for a little under a year. So this is kind of an experiment for me. Even though this clearly looks like I mean, it is supposed to be a snug fitting tank top anyway, but it looks like it might be a little bit small, but as it stretches out with its natural sort of what happens with yarn, I think it will be absolutely perfect. So we're going to go with that. I'm going to do this last square, and then I'm going to work on stitching it up. And hopefully the next time I talk to you, I will be showing you a beautifully finished tank top. We'll see how that goes. Thank you so much for joining me. I love having these chats with you guys, and I'm going to keep doing them. I know there's not a lot of you that are following or watching regularly, and that's okay, because this is just about something that I enjoy doing. If you do want to subscribe, I would totally appreciate it. If you really are enjoying these conversations, leave me a comment and let me know that you do want to keep hearing from me, because that just, I don't know, maybe it strokes a little bit of my ego, but it's just nice to hear from you guys. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on another episode. Bye-bye.